So today we're going to be going over the top 10 winter designer fragrances chosen by you guys. So I believe the first viewer-led video that I did started from a top 10 fall fragrances chosen by you guys, and from there it's done really well. You guys really seem to like these, and so here we are with your winter picks. We've got 10 designer fragrances here, no honorable mentions. One thing I do have to say, you guys did vote in some discontinued / harder to find fragrances, ones that are either newly discontinued, have been sold out for a long time, or more recently sold out. And now that's one thing that I have to pay attention to heavily when creating lists on my own, because if I don't, people will get mad at me. So do understand that these discontinued / hard to get fragrances in here were not my doing. They were voted in by you guys. Other than that though, it is a solid list, and let's just run right through it. So this first one is Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum. Has been sold out for a little while here. When I did my fall fragrances video, it was in stock and it went out pretty quickly after that. So you guys scoop this one up for sure. But it's a great scent. I've talked about it highly many times, and I will never stop loving this scent, and I'll never stop recommending it myself. It's got vanilla, benzoin, and pink pepper as a few of the main notes. It smells absolutely crazy good. You know, it has a uniqueness about it, something that you don't normally get from men's designer fragrances, and I really like that. And when it is in stock in a healthy market, it's relatively affordable. So in that $50, $60 range, I think is typically where it falls, although my memory could be serving me incorrectly here because it has been out of stock now. But do keep in mind, this is the EDP, and the EDT does not smell like this. So don't think that you can grab the EDT and get something that smells a little bit similar but weaker. It's not at all the case. The EDT is a completely different scent. Don't get that one if you're expecting to get the EDP smell. The EDT is a good fragrance, just not in the same ballpark here. Unfortunately, if you want this, you have to get this, or get Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo, which is way more expensive. You make the choice on that one. But at number 10, for a winter fragrance, it's very solid stuff. At number 9, one of my absolute favorites. It's cool to see it make this video because, you know, usually this fragrance is kind of shunned. It's shunned because of its performance. So I was surprised to see the amount of votes here, and it did land it at the number 9 spot, which I thought was pretty cool, and that is the one Eau de Parfum. So I do agree. I think it's a good winter scent. However, I think it's more situational specific for me, meaning I would prefer it in a date scenario, in a close encounter evening type of thing, because of its performance, right? We can all agree here, myself included, that it is not a beast mode scent. It never has been. So for me, it's always been a date night scent, something along those lines. So it works good in winter. I do think, though, that a lot of you would be disappointed with the performance in terms of an everyday wear. So wearing it to work, to school, in the wintertime during the day, you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. Something to keep in mind here, the performance could be improved for that. But for a date, the performance is great. You don't need a 10-hour fragrance for a date. If you do, I don't know what you're doing, but good on you. Most people just need a couple hours for a, grab dinner and some drinks and head home, and that's all you need. And this is what this does the best. Great winter scent, but it will lack in performance for a lot of you guys. With that being said also, it still remains to me as one of the all-time best men's date night fragrances. This and La Nuit de l'Homme / La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique, best date night fragrances on the market for men, still stands. So if you're looking for a date scent in the wintertime, do check this one out. At number 8, we have Bentley For Men Intense. This one's got rum, it's got cinnamon, it's got leather, it has incense. Smoky, woody, masculine, and incredibly strong. There's nothing shy or under the radar about this scent. This is for the guy who does not give a crap if he's noticed, if he's recognized. He doesn't care if maybe he offends someone a little bit with this scent. Maybe some certain people around him wouldn't care for this. He doesn't care, right? And that's just that. If you're going to wear this one out in public and you're going to go relatively heavy with the sprays here, you can't care if you offend people because it may happen. It's a strong fragrance. It's very woody, and it goes against the traditional men's fragrances being put out now, the super sweet, bubblegummy, youthful fragrances. This is the opposite of that. So it really is quite different, but it is going to have you standing out. I've talked about this one a whole bunch on the channel to the point where I backed off on it because I get tired of seeing the comments about how it sucks because people don't like it, so that means it sucks. It's a fragrance not for everyone, and I tell you guys that every time I talk about this one. You have to take a look at your collection. You have to evaluate what you like in order to make a decision on if you think you're going to like this. If you're coming from the background of citrus, aquatic fragrances, bubblegummy sweet fragrances, this is going to be a complete change. You're probably not going to like it right off the bat. That's common sense. If you're coming from the direction of more masculine, strong, more classic fragrances, you're more likely to get along with this one. So please step back, take a look at what you're currently wearing, and make a decision for yourself if you think you're going to enjoy it. If you're into stuff that's masculine, strong, and woody with a bit of a boozy touch, this here is top notch, and I'll tell you, if you're into that sort of thing, one of the absolute best bang for your buck fragrances. Mid $30 range for this stuff is absolutely mind-blowing, and that's complete robbery. I mean, the fact that you can get this one for the price that it's at is mind-blowing to me, and you should definitely get it if that's what you're after. Number 8, great scent that cuts through the cold air like crazy, and I'm glad to see it here. At number 7, we have Tom Ford Noir Extreme. So this one has coffee, it's got vanilla, it's got some sweet notes in here, but really, I mean, it's all about this gourmand coffee vanilla smell. A bit of a spiciness up top. I'll go ahead and spray it. That's kind of a wimpy spray. Well, the atomizers are good, but they're not great on this, just to be honest with you. But the smell is incredible. It's a Tom Ford, right? And I almost cringe when I say that because obviously every brand has fragrances that certain people won't like. But what is very consistent with Tom Ford is the quality and the uniqueness. And that's pretty much across the board here. Maybe they have a few that are a little bit unsatisfactory, but I would say that most of them really live up to the brand. They live up to the hype, and they just smell different. They set you apart. And Noir Extreme is one of those fragrances that does that for you. It's powdery, it's sweet, it's very warm, inviting, and sexy. It's a perfect winter scent. It smells so, so good. That gourmand aspect really fits in with winter and more specifically with the holidays. So obviously it is going to work after Christmas and the holidays and the cold weather. But for me, there's something about the smell of this one, kind of having a sweet gourmand edible smell that pairs very well with Christmas, because a lot of times around the holidays you're having a lot of cookies and sweets and that sort of thing. So it fits really well. Even though it has a bunch of sweetness, it's still very refined. It still has great quality, and it's a fragrance that I think a lot of you guys would love if you haven't got your nose on it already. So at number 6, we have a fragrance which maybe not everyone would consider to be a designer. Again, this conversation can go both ways on this topic, and also I didn't create the list, so hey, I have a free pass here, don't shoot the messenger. But it is a great scent, actually one of my favorites. Not only one of my favorites, but also one of my favorites from the brand. So that means this stuff is really, really good, at least for me. This one is L'Homme Ideal Extreme by Guerlain. Yeah, not everyone thinks Guerlain is a designer brand, and I understand that standpoint, but they have to be included somewhere. The fact of the matter is, if I were to create a niche list and place that there, it's not going to have nearly as many eyes on it as if I were to create a designer list and place it there. It does fall more into the designer price point, and I do think that because of that, it's worth the hype more versus being like a Tom Ford private blend, which falls into a niche price, even though it is a designer. I really don't care if people see that. I really don't. Tom Ford private blend, they're great fragrances. I love them. But, a more affordable scent like this, I think, deserves to be pushed out to more people, and thus, I agree with it being in the list. L'Homme Ideal Extreme, an amazing fragrance. Tobacco, plum, and almond are a few of the main notes. This one absolutely just rocked my world when it first came out. I was so impressed by it. I knew it was going to smell good, don't get me wrong, right? The whole line is very solid, but just how different it is to the EDT and the EDP with that tobacco plum twist makes this off the wall good. So impressive, and I think this is a fragrance that just about every single guy should pick up and have in their collection. Absolutely gorgeous and smells phenomenal in the cold weather. So at number 5, we do have a newly discontinued fragrance. Okay, so don't get mad at me if you can't go out and buy this one right away. A lot of you probably own it, so that's cool. You can wear it in the wintertime. I do agree with it here, but if you're new, if you're just getting into this, if you don't have a bottle, I'm sorry, I didn't do it. It was your fault, guys. You voted this one in. But it's Prada L'Homme Intense. I did create a post about this one on my community tab around Black Friday time. If you guys have been watching the channel, around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that whole week I was constantly posting on the community tab with a whole bunch of deals. And you guys saved a crap ton of money. You guys cleaned house. I mean, you guys were selling stuff out. And this one happened to show up on Fragrance X for $86, I believe, somewhere around in there. And you guys sold that out pretty quickly after I posted about it. You got to get subscribed. If you missed out, I don't feel bad for you if you weren't subscribed, because if you're subscribed, it shows up in your news feed. You can get to it easily. If you are subscribed and you miss out, then I do feel bad for you. And I hope you can get a bottle of this someday, because it is really good. But yeah, Prada L'Homme Intense. It's a more intense version of the original with leather, tonka bean. Of course, it has the iris, a little bit of amber. It's an absolutely stunning fragrance. And I've said this before, and I even said this before this got discontinued, so it's not like I'm hyping it up because it's discontinued now. I prefer it over the original. And again, I felt like that for a long time now before they axed it. I think this is a better fragrance than the original. I really do. And it does work really well for wintertime. Prices are going to be going up on eBay. Now, I recommend to subscribe to my channel, because if I see it pop up anywhere, I will post about it on my community tab. But also do your due diligence and, check the discounters every day, because they may get some more in stock, that sort of thing. You just have to be diligent. If you want a bottle, just keep looking for it, and you'll probably be able to find one at some point. Maybe a bit more expensive, but that's just how it works. At number 5, a great scent for wintertime. So at number 4, we have a fragrance that is now sold out. So this one was on sale big time over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Any OGs that were subscribed to my channel a couple weeks ago probably picked up a bottle of this on the cheap, because it was very affordable. Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Again, you guys swept house, and it is now sold out. I'm sorry. If you have a bottle, awesome for you. It's a great winter scent. If you don't have one, then you're just going to have to wait around. It's not discontinued, obviously. It just came out. It'll come back in stock, and here soon it should be hitting discounters. You're just not going to be able to pick it up at the time of this video going live. So it's got cardamom, it's got lavender, it has that typical La Nuit de l'Homme note breakdown, but with a little bit of a modern twist. It brings that DNA back to life. It brings back some of that richness, some of that strength that the new bottles of the EDT don't really have. They do lack. They aren't nearly the same as the old bottles, but this stuff to me is absolutely gorgeous. I love every single thing about La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. I am so glad they came out with this, and it is a fragrance that I truly love. Like I said earlier on when talking about the One Eau de Parfum, this DNA and the One EDP, two of the best date fragrances you can buy, hands down, without a question. If you want to get the girl, if you want to win on a date night, get this stuff once you can, and you're going to absolutely love it. Works great in the wintertime. Amazing stuff. At number 3, we have Armani Coat Absolu. This one's got tonka bean, vanilla, orange, and suede as a few of the key notes in here. Smells great. Love this stuff. It never gets old. I can smell this all the time, and I'll never get tired of it. It just works. Such a great blend. It's got a nice sweetness, a little bit of like a gourmand aspect to some small extent due to the vanilla. It's a fragrance for those who have a sweet tooth. If you're into sweet scents for men, you're gonna love this stuff. If you also want something that is head turning, this is going to be for you as well. It's a great performer. It does stand out in the cold weather. It's going to have you smelling unique. It will appeal to the younger guys more than the older guys, given the amount of sweetness, but that's not to say that you can't pull it off. I think anyone of any age can wear this stuff as long as you like it. So it is very versatile in that aspect. I've loved this one ever since it first came out. I think it's a great release. I think it's one that just about everyone should have. Amazing stuff here at number 3. So at number 2, we have another controversial one. So not only is this one that also may not be considered a designer, it's also one that has been sold out for a long time now. It's another Guerlain, right? And it's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. So 2 fragrances of the same line made it in here. And again, this one happens to be sold out. The Extreme can be purchased, and that will be linked down below, like always, with everything. Always links down below. Always click those because it makes it easy for you. That's where you can find it. Click down below. The EDP, I'm sorry, it's been sold out, even on their official website. I don't know what's up, but it is at number 2, so we got to cover. So this one has cherry, it has almond. It's a nice kind of creamy, nutty, fruity fragrance with a nice, fresh, sweet balance. Very classic, very masculine, very upscale. So this is a gentleman's fragrance. You know, this is not something that you would wear in a casual outfit. Now, obviously you can, but it really is suited for someone who is a bit more dressed up. If you work a job where maybe you have a bit of authority over people, maybe you're a boss of some sort, maybe you just typically dress up for your work environment, go for this one and it's going to fit the part perfectly. Versus if you're typically casual, or if you're someone in school, high school, college, it'll work, you'll smell great, but it's not as suited for that. There's other fragrances in here that would work better. This is for the guy who is very clean, very well dressed, just very well kept. It's also great for formal situations, that sort of thing. You can use it as a special occasion scent. I love this stuff. It's one that did grow on me a lot, and it's a fragrance I think is very unique, especially at the price when it's in stock. And at number 1, a fragrance that is also a little bit hard to get. I don't think it's available in the US, but is what it is. Stronger With You, absolutely. This one was the most voted by far, like the highest voted fragrance by a landslide on this list. So you guys definitely got your hands on it and you like it. This one has chestnut, it's got vanilla, it's got some other sweet tonka bean goodness in here. It is the original Stronger With You, bringing back that chestnut and some strength and some rum booziness, and it's kind of like just a refresh of that original, but stronger and even more rich. So I really like this one. For me, it's the best out of the whole entire line. The reason I don't talk about it more is because it is harder to get. Now, once this one is readily available here in the US on discounters or even at retailers, it'll be one that I would feature more, and it would be a great pickup. It still is a great pickup if you can get it, but it is tough, and I know a lot of people are missing out on this. But for me, if I were to get rid of all of my Stronger With You fragrances and I could only keep one, absolutely would be it by far. I wouldn't have to think twice about it. The original has never performed good on my skin. It's never worked well for me. That's just me. A lot of people get great performance from it. I got a bottle when it first came out and it never worked for me. Intensely is a nice improvement, but not to the extent of this one. The leather version is nice, doesn't have the same thing going on. It is also limited. Freeze is really pleasant. I love how it smells, but at the end of the day, absolutely takes the cake for me. It's a great, great scent here at number 1. Definitely a fragrance that will dominate the cold like no other. That is the number 1 winter designer fragrance chosen by you guys. Stronger With You, absolutely. So guys, there you have it. You guys made the video. You guys chose the top 10 best winter designer fragrances for the year. So let me know down below, did you guys have fun? Did you guys enjoy the list? Did you think it turned out pretty good, or what would you have changed about it? And I will provide links to each and every one of these down below. Again, the discontinued ones, I'll do my best to search around, but it's a bit tricky. Same with the out of stock ones as well. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.